In this video, I want to talk about why co-parenting can feel like a nightmare and what you can do about it. Now, I touch on it in some of my videos. I don't really go too in depth about it, but I've been in my own high conflict custody case for the last almost 2.5 years. And I've learned some things while on this journey that I want to share with you because I've learned how when you're co-parenting or when you're trying to co-parent or when somebody don't want to co-parent, it can create so much like internal like turmoil within you if you're not aware of some of these things that I want to talk about in this video. So I've had to learn that I have to slow down when I'm interacting, especially like, say when you're reading messages, you get texts or you get emails or something like that. I have had to learn how to slow down in my response time, in how my perspective is developing about what this message is trying to tell me. My ego can get in the way. So learning how to be mindful of all this type of stuff requires me to be able to slow down and pause and be able to kind of assess what is even happening, because there can be a tendency where like kind of overanalyze, man, blow things out of proportion. Don't pick your battles right, and I've made this mistake, and this is something that I have to continue to be really mindful of because I've fallen into this trap, of just reacting impulsively to stuff. So that's the first key that I had to learn, is to slow down and take a pause in any type of interaction. The second thing that I had to learn was to control what I can control and stop worrying so much about what the other person is doing. It might be annoying, it might be frustrating, it might anger me, but I have to really kind of take the time to be like, that's out of my control. I can only control what I can control, how I interact with my children when they're around me, and really being mindful of like how I perceive things when I get these certain messages or something like that, or I might hear my kids say something, how you perceive something, because naturally my ego kind of gets involved, going to like this protective mode, or why is this person doing it the way that, why are they doing it like that? That's creating problems. And I'm having to just realize that I have no control over that. Let everything else go, man. Like we create a lot of stress. And I say we as in men who deal with this type of stuff, who are trying to co-parent, who are trying to be in their children's lives. And you might be going up a brick wall for many reasons. My own personal story, I've made some mistakes in my life that caused a disruption in my connection with my daughter that I'm trying to repair. And I'm having to jump through these different hoops and these different hurdles and stuff like that. And that can weigh on a brother. That's all I'm going to say. That's why I'm making this video, because that can weigh on us, and it's important to be able to prioritize your mental health. And that's what these keys are, to help you prioritize your mental health, man. All right. So control what you can control and let the rest go. And that shit is not easy. I know. The third tip that I had to really learn, and I still have to work on, is to give myself time before I respond to a message. If this message is not urgent, if my kids are not in some like, some emergency, then there's no need to really, I don't have to respond right away. I got to give myself time to like kind of just process what is even in this message, what is even being said to me. And the person I co-parent with, particularly, messages be long, so it's almost like, it takes time to read through this type of stuff and to understand what exactly is the concern. What exactly are you trying to ask me in this? And it takes time to kind of weed through that. I don't know let me know if you deal with that type of stuff, the communication style of your ex, or, the person you're trying to co-parent with. Is their communication style so hard to kind of understand, like that you're trying to understand the message they're trying to convey to you, and it might create that angst in you. You might get bothered. You might be like, here we go. Like, so what I'm trying to say is I had to learn how to give myself space and give myself time before I respond. I had to let that emotional charge kind of settle. And I had to be aware of why the emotional charge is even happening. You know what I mean? So being able to understand that before I actually respond to something has been very helpful for me. I don't know if I said 3 or 4, but I'm on 4 right now. And the fourth thing that I had to learn that I have to continue to practice, all these I got to continue to practice regularly, is to look for the concern and not for the attack in the messaging or the communication or whatever's going on, however I'm interacting, to not take things as like an attack on me, because I make that mistake, especially in these messages. I'll be reading a message and it feels like I'm being dictated to. I'm spoken to in a way I'm being told how I'm supposed to operate. And I personally don't do well with that. So it's trying to be mindful of that and understanding, like, all right, try not to take it as an attack. Look at it as, what is the concern that they want me to address? What are they? Because that's what it is. Ultimately, we're all trying to be heard and trying to be seen and trying to get a need met. So I try to do my best to like, I have to slow down and really look at the situation like, what is this person asking of me? And it's hard to get to that point to be able to really see that because all the other stuff is blocking it. All the other, and by other stuff, I mean all the other emotional stuff, the anger, the sadness, the I'm being spoken to in a certain way. So being able to work through that so that you can actually see what the person is asking of you, and then I can respond in a way that is just directing that concern. And it's not addressing all this other peripheral stuff. I'm not getting all wound up and distracted by all that other stuff, if that makes sense. Hopefully you can follow me on that. Hey, if you get any value out of this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you know when I make more content like this. And now for this last final tip that I have to work on is to understand who your co-parent is. I have to understand who I'm co-parenting with. What I mean is being able to understand that people, they don't operate how I operate. You know, your ex or whoever might not operate how you operate. And people, they may not change. They may not be working on themselves or whatever. They live in their lives and they operate a certain way. So it's important to be able to realize that your co-parent is who they are, just like you are who you are, you know, and you operate in certain ways. You have your certain values and your certain beliefs. And when those are tested or when those are challenged, you may react from this protective type of way of just responding to things, you know. So I try to be mindful of that and keep that stuff in the forefront. Yes, I am not perfect. I lose sight of this stuff too, but these are some of the skills that I try to just really live my life by. And like I said, yes, you can lose sight of these things, you know, but the more that I practice them, the more that you practice them, the more that it can become more of like a second nature to kind of go to, you know. So when we're wrapped up in this nonsense, or we're wrapped up in arguments or unnecessary conflict, we can revert back to these types of things and be like, oh, okay, I need to really focus on slowing down. I need to really not respond to such and such right away, you know. So that's why I wanted to make this quick video. That's why I wanted to share these tips, because I know I'm not the only dude that deals with this type of stuff out here. A lot of us trying to be in our kids' lives, and maybe we didn't have the best quality of a relationship with their parent, and that may be playing out right now currently in what we're dealing with. So that's what this video is for. Hopefully this video gave you some value, and if it did, be sure to check out one of my other videos. All right, I'll leave something up here floating around for you, and I'll see you there. Peace.